This is Your Life. Now, Mr. This Is Your Life himself, Ralph Edwards.
Seated here with me is a gentleman whose life was changed as the hands of the clock reached the hour of 8:15 one summer morning. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Would you tell us your name, please?
Kiyoshi Tanimoto.
Tanimoto.
Yes.
And your occupation, Mr. Tanimoto?
Minister, Christian minister.
Right.
Yes.
Reverend Tanimoto.
Yes.
When did you arrive in this country?
Well, let me see. I forgot.
I mean, this time.
2 days ago.
2 days
Yes.
ago. Have you ever heard of our television program, This Is Your Life?
Well, this is my first time to have such many lights. And,
well, we have one particular program here in America that we call This Is Your Life. Now, you thought, of course, you were going to be interviewed as a part of the work you're now doing, didn't you? What is that work, sir, that you are doing right now at the present moment?
well, I brought a group of girls who have a terrible disfigurement on account of atomic explosion on Hiroshima.
And you have accompanied these girls
Yes,
over.
and we are hoping to have plastic surgery for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now, you are going to be interviewed, like we said. But we've been working, and you didn't know this, you see. We may have a little surprise.
Oh, is that right?
We've been working for weeks with your friends Norman Cousins, editor of the Saturday Review, and John Hersey, author of the best-selling novel Hiroshima, and Dr. Marvin Green, and many others, as well as members of our State Department, to bring you to our stage tonight.
Oh, that's a wonderful.
So that we could retell the story of your life. Now, the facts are between the covers of this book, Reverend Kiyoshi Tanimoto. This is Your Life. This is our sponsor down here, Hazel Bishop. You see, I have to explain that because he'll wonder who this person is probably down here. Anyhow, through this archway will come many people, you see, through this here. It says, This is Your Life. Many people who have helped shape your destiny, and we hope you'll have some pleasant moments. And we hope, too, ladies and gentlemen, that you will have a better understanding of what it is to look into the face of atomic power. Now, Reverend Tanimoto, are you ready to turn the pages in this book and share with us your experiences? All right, then. August 6, 1945, Hiroshima, Japan. This is Your Life, Kiyoshi Tanimoto. The morning is perfectly clear, and as the warm summer sun rises above the mountains which run around three sides of the city, it awakens a sprawling community of 245,000 people. The time is 6 a.m. Now, what were you doing at 6 a.m., Reverend Tanimoto?
Well, I wake up and I was trying to evacuate some belongings of my church into country.
I see.
Yes.
To another friend's house?
Yes.
Were you expecting a bomb attack?
Yes, we thought something special would be given to us. Up until that time, we had no bombing at all, even though other cities are already bombed.
Yes. So at 6 in the morning, you're lending a helping hand to a member of your parish when suddenly the piercing blast of the air raid siren goes off. Did you run for cover? Not when the siren blew, did you? You were used to that. Every morning it went off,
right,
didn't
yes.
it? As I understand, there were U.S. Army reconnaissance planes flying overhead most of the time. So this was taken for granted, this air raid siren.
That's right, yes.
This might happen even today in any typical American community. The sound of an air raid siren, even at 6 in the morning, is not taken too seriously.
At 0600 on the morning of August the 6th, 1945, I was in a B-29 flying over the Pacific. Destination, Hiroshima.
A voice and a man whose life is destined to be woven up in the threads of your own, Reverend Tanimoto. Now, we'll meet him later on in our story. Right now, it's after 8. You pause to rest for a moment in the garden of Mr. Matsui's house. That was the friend who was helping you carry your belongings. Looking out, you can see Hiroshima lying ahead of you. You could be looking at Buffalo, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, St. Louis, Missouri, Seattle, Washington. But this is Hiroshima, Japan. The morning is quiet, very peaceful. The time has come, that split second of eternity which comes in one way or another to every man in his lifetime. What did you do when you heard that bomb?
Well, I didn't hear any sound,
I see.
but I saw a strange flash running through mid-air and took a couple of steps into the garden and lied on the ground. And I felt strong blast of wind. And then I got up and saw many houses behind me destroyed.
You were between two rocks,
Yes.
more or less, weren't you? And as the terrible pressure from the concussion throbbed through your head and bits of board and tile from Mr. Matsui's house fell on you, your mind must have lived through a lifetime, back to days when the peaceful sound of temple bells called the faithful Buddhist to prayer. Back to June 27th, 1909, and your birth in Shikoku, not too far from Hiroshima. You're the youngest of 8 children. Your father proudly goes to the town hall and registers your birth and inheritance. And you go through grammar school and are a bright young scholar, faithful to the religious teachings of your father. But then something happens that is to change and help shape your whole life.
Kiyoshi decided that he wanted to enter theological school and become a Christian minister.
Well, now that voice belongs to somebody who was very dear to you in your youth. I want you to look at our archway here, Reverend Tanimoto, because coming through it is Miss Bertha Starkey of Warrensville, Ohio. Here's Miss Starkey. Miss Starkey, I know it's a wonderful meeting here. When did you first meet Mr. Tanimoto?
After he graduated from high school, he came to Korea to visit his older brother. I was a Methodist missionary in Seoul at that time. And when he decided that he wanted to enter theological school, he came to me for advice.
Yes. Did you have your family's permission to do this, Mr.
No,
Tanimoto?
my father was a strong Buddhist believer and opposed my Christian faith.
And your mother?
Mother didn't know what Christianity was, but permitted me to go to a Christian church.
It was her death that convinced you to become a minister.
Yeah, that's right.
1940, you graduate from Emory University, an ordained Methodist minister, and are assigned to a church right here in Hollywood, not too far from where you're sitting right now. What church was it, Reverend Tanimoto?
Hollywood Independent Church.
Yes, a Japanese-American
Yes.
church. You preached there for 3.5 months and are loved by your congregation. Now, we told you, Reverend Tanimoto, we had some pleasant moments for you. Would you come with me, sir, just for a moment? I want you to look into the faces of these people right out here. Now, do you recognize any of them there? They're members of the Hollywood Independent congregation who came here tonight just to see you again. There they are. Time is standing still as our earth shakes to an explosion never before equaled. In a daze, you pull yourself from your position between the two garden rocks. From your vantage point, you again look out over the city, and you started to tell us what you saw. What did you see?
Well, I saw the whole city on fire. And many people running away from the city in silence. Their skin peeling off, hanging from face, from arm, but strange to say, in silence, it looked like a procession of ghosts.
Did you know that Hiroshima had been the first city to feel the force of atomic power?
Well, I didn't know what happened.
But as your mind clears, you think of your wife and baby, your church, your parishioners, all somewhere in the enveloping dust. You start to run toward the city saying, "My God, help them."
And looking down from thousands of feet over Hiroshima, all I could think of was, my God, what have we done?
The voice again of a man whose second of eternity was woven up with yours, Reverend Tanimoto. Now, you've never met him, have never seen him, but he's here tonight to clasp your hand in friendship. Captain Robert Lewis, United States Air Force, who along with Paul Tibbets piloted the plane from which the first atomic power was dropped over Hiroshima. Captain Lewis, come in here close, and would you tell us, sir, of your experience on August 6, 1945?
Well, Mr. Edwards, we left Tinian in the Mariana Islands at about 2:45 in the morning on August the 6th, 1945. Our destination was Japan. We had 3 targets. One was Hiroshima, one was Nagasaki, one was Kokura. About an hour before we hit the coastline of Japan, we were notified that Hiroshima was clear. Therefore, Hiroshima became our target. Just before 8:15 a.m., Tokyo time, Tom Farabee, a very able bombardier, carefully aimed at his target, which was the 2nd Imperial Japanese Army headquarters. 8:15 promptly, the bomb was dropped. We turned fast to get out of the way of the deadly radiation and bomb effects. First was a big flash that we got, and then the 2 concussion waves hit the ship. Shortly after, we turned back to see what had happened. And there in front of our eyes, the city of Hiroshima disappeared.
Now, you entered something in your log at that time.
As I said before, Mr. Edwards, I wrote down later, my God, what have we done?
And so, Reverend Tanimoto, you on the ground and you on your military mission, Captain Lewis, in the air, both appeal to a power greater than your own. Thank you, Captain Robert Lewis, now personnel manager of Henry Heidi Incorporated in New York City. In that split second when one atom bomb was exploded, 100,000 people were either killed or destined to die. 100,000 more were hurt. Were you hurt, Reverend Tanimoto?
No. I was safe.
But as you run along the highway into the city in search of your wife and baby, you're stunned by the human destruction which you see. Now, you've told us pretty much about this, Reverend Tanimoto. You've told us about what you saw. Fires have sprung up everywhere. Your way into the city is blocked. You keep running, trying to get to your home, your church. You apologize to people along the way because you are unhurt.
主人と私があんなところで会えたことは幸いでした。
Yes, Reverend Tanimoto, it's true. From your home in Hiroshima, which you just left to surprise you, even as she did on August 6th, is your wife, Chisaka Tanimoto. Here she is. Sit there by your husband. Let it go in front of you. Mrs. Tanimoto, I think we really surprised your husband. Where were you when the bomb fell?
原子爆弾が落ちた時、私は高校で入って家の下敷きになりました。
What did your wife say, Reverend
Well,
Tanimoto?
I forgot. I was buried under the debris,
Yes.
holding my baby Coco in my arms.
Yes, no, completely dazed. You're able to extricate yourself, Mrs. Tanimoto, and you make your way through the streets until by a miracle you bump right into your husband. Now, Reverend Tanimoto, there follow days and nights of help and ministration to the wounded. You carry on, you comfort, you bring water to the thirsty, unable to move. You run for whatever medical help you can get. More often than not, unable to find it, you bring back rice cakes and biscuits instead. It's a week before news begins to leak out from official Japanese headquarters that the city had been destroyed by the energy released by the splitting of an atom. And then, Nagasaki feels the terror of the second bomb. And on August 15th, the Emperor of Japan broadcasts to the nation that the war is over. And out of the carnage that was Hiroshima at 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945, the Japanese people have built a new city. But 10 years later, all is not forgotten. There's still very visible signs of that terrible day which stand as living reminders of what atomic power can do. Mr. Tanimoto, one more joyful surprise for you. Your children, Coco Ken, Jun, and Shin, and here they are. Here they are. All the way from Hiroshima. Come on, Ken, Jun, and Shin. This is your life, Kiyoshi Tanimoto, a man of God who looked into the face of eternity in that awful moment when the world stood still, and who is now courageously building a monument to peace out of the ashes of Hiroshima.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We know how hard you've worked to make it possible for these 25 girls to come to the United States for medical aid. And we know, too, that there are many, many more people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki who were children back in 1945 and who are reaching maturity now and who will never know a normal, happy life without immediate medical and surgical help. Now, we're sure that there are many among our viewers tonight who will want to share in Reverend Tanimoto's dedicated life. Now, this is your life, Kiyoshi Tanimoto. May God grant you and your family and all of us a world in which we and our children can live in eternal peace.